We're going to Wisconsin. Title says 80-year-old arrested 38 years after allegedly fatally shooting woman in the head amid love triangle. True Crime Daily published November 14th, 2023, and this is in Polk County. An 80-year-old woman was taken into custody in Arizona on suspicion of shooting and killing a woman in a nearly 40-year-old cold case. WEAU-TV reports the Polk County Sheriff's Office announced Mary Jo Bailey was arrested in Maricopa County, Arizona, in connection with Yvonne Menke's unsolved death from 1985. Wisconsin court records show Bailey is charged with first-degree murder. According to the Polk County Cold Case Unit, Menke was fatally shot in the early morning hours of December 12, 1985, in St. Croix Falls, or Qua. She sustained 3 gunshot wounds to the head and neck while leaving for work. A witness reportedly saw a person of interest wearing a gray coat and dark hat flee the area. The affidavit shared by WEAU says one of Menke's daughters told investigators Menke had an on and off relationship with a man named Jack Owen, though they had issues because he reportedly had a roving eye and was always looking the ladies over. Owen reportedly also had a relationship with a woman named Mary Jo, but the daughter did not know Mary Jo's last name at the time. The daughter reportedly said the relationship with Mary Jo had caused problems between Jack and her mother. At the scene, investigators reportedly noticed a shoe print in the snow with the word Arctic near the heel. The print reportedly followed the direction where the suspect fled following the shooting. According to the affidavit, Menke was killed on a staircase near the parking garage. Based on Menke's injuries and locations of the gunshots, investigators said the suspect would have been positioned above Menke's body at the time and or positioned near Menke's head, indicating that the suspect walked up the stairs, walked over a portion of Yvonne Menke's body, and then fired 2 additional rounds into the side of Menke's head. She was shot with a .22 caliber gun. Owen reportedly said he learned about Menke's death from a bank teller the same day. The affidavit says investigators learned Owen, Menke, and Bailey, who was known as Mary Jo Lundsman at the time, were involved in somewhat of a love triangle. Owen reportedly simultaneously dated Bailey and Menke, and both couples often broke up, but always seemed to rekindle their relationships. Officers spoke with Menke the day after the shooting, and she allegedly started crying. She allegedly said she and Owen stopped seeing each other on a steady basis 3 years prior. She said she saw Owen on December 10th, but only because they share an interest in horses. She said she and Menke talked on the phone once about Jack and his behavior. She described the talk as good, because until then, neither of them knew where the other stood. Menke told officers she owned a .22 caliber pistol that her ex allegedly gave to her. She also showed him a pair of Arctic cat boots, which matched the shoe prints found at the scene. One witness allegedly told police they believed Mary Jo was capable of killing Yvonne. The day before the shooting, Bailey reportedly became upset with Owen because he did not invite her to his birthday party. And a few days before that, Owen and Menke were seen in public together. The witness said they speculated that whoever killed Yvonne Menke did it to erase competition. Over the initial course of the investigation, detectives interviewed 19 people, but the case eventually went cold. Polk County investigators reopened Menke's case in late 2021 and made it a priority to locate and re-interview witnesses and others who had knowledge of Jack Owen, Mary Jo Lundsman, and Yvonne Menke before, during, and after the homicide. Investigators spoke with Bailey, who lives in Arizona, on September 21st, 2022, and continued to interview several new people, including one person who said she always figured that Mary Jo was the one who had the audacity to think she could kill someone. One of the witnesses from the original investigation said Owen allegedly couldn't fake it anymore and wanted to be with Yvonne. Bailey would allegedly call Owen, but he reportedly did not pick up or refused to see her. The affidavit says detectives believe the crime and the up-close and personal attack appeared to show personal knowledge and a strong emotional reaction towards Yvonne Menke. Additionally, her killer was not a stranger to Yvonne, but rather someone who was aware of her and her daily habits. The affidavit said that based on the witness interviews, evidence taken from the scene, and Bailey's suspected animosity towards Yvonne, there was enough suspected proof to issue a warrant for her arrest. Wow. I just feel like I read a true crime detective love triangle book, all packaged into one article. Yeah, 1985. And you know what's crazy? I don't know if you know JCS, Jim Can Swim. Jim Can't Swim. He's the one that does the psychological analysis of police interrogations. He has the one for Chris Watts that's it's hard to watch just because they go through like the whole case and whatnot, and that's probably one of the most horrendous cases I've heard so far. But they have one specifically about this person called Stephanie Lazarus. If you don't know the Stephanie Lazarus case, she killed her. Okay, so she was dating someone, right? And they were in love. That was the love of her life. They were together for a very long time. He dumped her. He didn't want to be with her anymore. He didn't like her like that. But she would occasionally come around and they would engage in sexual activities, and basically the relationship was like that until he met someone else. When he met someone else, he fell deeply in love with this person. He ended up marrying her. Turns out Stephanie did not like this, and Stephanie shot and killed her ex's wife. The thing is, she was a police officer, and since she knew so well how to cover up everything, she was able to do it. Until probably like 25 to 30 years later, this was in Los Angeles, the case had gone cold because they couldn't figure out who had shot the lady. Kenpachi, how are you doing today? Hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for being here. So once the case was reopened, because she was a police officer, she was actually the one that was presiding over the case when it was first discovered, so she was able to sweep everything under a rug. When, again, like I mentioned, the case was reopened early, it was like 2000 something, 2008, 2009. Turns out she was still working at the same police department, and the detectives that reopened the case worked a few offices in the same department from Stephanie Lazarus. And the video on JCS is the interrogation portion of it, because they had already singled her out because there was just overwhelming evidence of her committing the crime. There had been a lot of things that had happened prior to the murder being committed. But yeah, as it turns out, she was arrested by her own fellow police mates from her facility, from the police precinct that she worked at. Literally, she went into the interrogation room, and then she went into the same jail that was right there, having stood up from her desk because she was working. She was in charge of the division of art. Like when it comes to like people that steal art and whatnot, and like really big renowned paintings and shit that get stolen and stuff. She was in charge of that department in Los Angeles. So picture that. She stood up from her desk, and then she was taken to the same jail where she once worked as a police officer, putting other people into jail. So, reminds me a lot of this case. Perfectly great example of people thinking that they're going to get away with things and acting extremely surprised when they wind up in jail because of the crimes they committed. Mind you, this woman's 85 years old. So, 80 years old. Regardless of what she's charged with, you know she's going to die in jail. So, I don't know. Listen, this was in 1985. She had a good 38 years of freedom. things change. You're going to jail now, lady. I don't know what to tell you. I have no idea what to say to you, but I don't know. Hope jail is comfortable, I guess, the very least. Alright, we'll watch this quick video and then we'll... guess not. She was so shocked. It's a notorious interrogation, ducking, because of the facial expressions that she does throughout the whole interrogation. And she only does it when she's lying. But when she tells the truth, you can see how her face completely changes. And she'll answer the questions. Yeah, well, you know, this isn't this and this. But whenever she goes into her lying mode, that's when she starts doing all the faces. It's so weird. Such a weird lady. But it's a very interesting video to watch. I absolutely love JCS. Anytime he posts a video, I'm putting it on Discord right away because obviously I want to watch it with other people. But I'll just like repeat it a few times because I like to kind of analyze what he's saying because I just find it so interesting. Sucks that his videos either get taken down or he takes a very long time to release videos. But nonetheless, every time he releases one, I'm there. Really good content creator. Duckin, do you know JCS? Some people do need help, Kenpachi. Unfortunately, we live in a place that it's really hard. It's so hard to get that help. Wow. I'll tell you that. Okay, so we read about the hockey player.